So who remembers the saying, don't count your chickens before they're hatched? Well, this is a fine example. 9 real healthy pups. Absolutely no problem at all being born. No problems. Natural birth. And yet 2 of them were smaller than the other 7. Now these are the 7 that remain. And I will go through and explain to you why. 2 of them were born small. There were 2 dogs that were small, and we did our best. We did our utmost best. And what you don't understand is, as soon as I explain about a litter being born, because people have been asking us for a long time, when you've got a litter, and they've waited especially for pups, and I totally appreciate that, and I thank them for that. But what I can't do is I can't start picking them up at 1 day old, 2 days old, showing you the colours and start making decisions who's going to have what, because I've got people on waiting lists. I've got people wanting pups. Now, you'll get offered a pup, and if I can, I'll give you a choice if I can. But at the end of the day, I can't guarantee that choice unless you're first in line. And it's a first come, first service basis. If we just said, right, they're 8 weeks old, first year, takes a pick. But unfortunately, some people have asked, where do I stand in picking my pup? And I say, you're second in line on the bitches, or you're third in line on the dogs. Unfortunately, we've lost 2 dogs, so there's only 2 dogs there. There was 2 dogs and 5 bitches, and the bitches have come on absolutely fine, absolutely lovely. You could argue, well, why don't you stand over them, hour on and hour off, and keep feeding them and keep feeding them and stepping in? I believe the strongest will survive, but we have a care of duty, and what you don't see is how much work we put in off camera. And I don't want to be putting up a story about fading pups and showing people fading pups, but it's a horrible situation. Even though I've done this for so long, watching 2 pups actually fade and not make it. It's as simple as that. And the sad thing about it is, if they died within the first few days, you don't feel so bad. It's when you've gone 21 days and you're still surviving, but just. And if you brought them out and showed everybody on the videos, you get people really upset, and we don't want to do that. And so what you've got to realise is, when we've been doing this for so long, it still affects us when we lose pups, but we understand it's part and parcel of nature, and it's important that you have healthy pups. And if we can help in any way, because we have a care of duty towards these pups, that's exactly what we'll do. But what we can't do, we can't step in and play God and pump it full of milk every 2 hours, and then it goes a whole night and ends up losing its energy again. We do our best with these pups. They get shoved out. The mother doesn't mess around. She doesn't hold emotional baggage. If she don't think they're going to make it, she ignores them. She just pushes them aside. If one of these pups come out on the teat and they're outside the dog whelping box, she doesn't pick them up and bring them back in like Walt Disney. Sometimes she just leaves them there, and they'll go cold. And the idea is we check them on a regular basis, but we don't intervene too much, because like the saying says, don't count your chickens before they're hatched. You can have a lovely litter of pups with no complications at all, and you can suddenly lose a lot of them. The mother can get a bit fretty. She's a lovely mother. She's absolutely lovely, but she's not daft, and she's copied many and many a bitch down the line. If they've got fading pups, she knows the ones she's got to look after, so she puts her energy into the ones that she has to look after. Now, 9 pups is a good sized litter, but it's not a problem litter. I've seen bitches have 12 pups and not have a problem. And we've had plenty of litters where we've had 12s, but we've also had litters where we've had 5s and 4s and still lost a pup. So what I'm saying to you is, we don't very often, touch wood, lose them at this age. And these are so content. They're absolutely lovely. And hopefully everything will go well. But until they're 8 weeks, there's nothing we can guarantee. Once they're running around, we can then take over and feed them, because we can feed them soon. We can put them on really like Weetabix mix, we can get them lapping very, very quick, and then we can get them onto dry food, and we can get them onto mincemeat, and they come on really well. So this litter now, at this age, I think if I step in, I can save any of these pups. But before that, it's touch and go, because they were born small, they were pushed out to start with, and we kept putting them back in there, putting them back on the teat. But we can't just take these 7 that are really healthy, push them aside, and leave the 2 in there with the bitch, because the bitch could get fretty, and then we're interfering too much with the pups in its natural environment. So all I'm saying is, you can't always guarantee, just because you've got 9 pups, they're all gonna, or 10 pups, they're all gonna survive, and everyone can start picking their pups through the colours at the moment. It can't happen. Once they start running around, once you see the markings you like, if you ask me about that pup and that pup's not been taken, or someone hasn't got preference over you on the markings, or they've picked their dog, then I might be able to help you. But that's all I can show you at the moment. I can only show you what we've got there at the moment. Healthy pups, coming on nice, but unfortunately we lost 2. Did we want to lose 2? Of course we didn't. We did our best, but that's reality. That's living in the real world. Hope you like the video. So there you have some pups, and they're beginning to move around now. They've got their eyes open, and they're just beginning to hear us now. They can actually hear us, and they're contented, and as you can see, they're nice size now. They're coming on nicely. Really pleased with them, and that's what we've got. Lovely liver head on them, mixed markings. That one's got a bit of a saddle, nice flash on the back tail, and we got this one here, is really marked, really liver and white marked, so we call this one number 2, and we call the one with the saddle number 1. And we've got another one here. Now let's just have a look. Number 1, little boy, so he's got the saddle, he's a boy. And that one there, number 2, another little boy, big lad. And then this little liver and white one, that's a girl, look. Lovely markings. That's a girl. And like I say, it doesn't get easy when they're all fidgeting and moving around. Another one with mixed markings. But most of them have got a nice liver head. That's a little girl. I think most of the girls are gone now. I only think we've got 1 or 2 left, if any. I've got so many people interested, and that's what happens. And some people like a flashy little dog or bitch, and that's going to be quite nice and flashy. Look at that lovely little blaze on there. It's got a little white mark on there as well, look. That's a little bitch, eyes open, little bitch. Big lazy thing here. That's a bitch, that's a big bitch. There. And like I say, the markings at the moment, there's another real white one there. It's a bitch as well. So she's got a lovely markings, white there. Bit of flash that's going to be on the tail. It's going to be really flashy. And she's got one liver spot on one side and white on the other. So she's going to be very flashy looking. So if people run competition, they like them to look flashy. A lot of people like them to have that liver on them, but they're nice dark liver. And as you can see, they're very contented. And that's what we've got. So she's doing a good job, the mother. Unfortunately, we did lose 2. But sometimes you just got to let nature take its course, because these are very, very strong, healthy pups, and the others got pushed out big time. And we tried and we tried, but it's the way it goes sometimes. You have to let nature take its course sometimes. If you step in and intervene too much, you can help them to a certain extent, but there comes a point where you've got to make a decision. And we tried and tried and tried. It's as simple as that. But nature's way is the strongest survive, and these have pushed their way in and not give the others much of a chance because they're so strong. And what people don't realise is you can sit up all night with these pups, and we've done that in the past, but we've learned that if they're weak, then you're going to pass on that to the customers, and you can't do that. That's not that. I don't think that's acceptable. And yet we have a duty to be caring and do our best. So we have to step in and do our best. But what we can't do is feed every 2 hours non-stop. We tried to get some weight on them. It just wasn't working. And then the mother's not silly. She rejects them because she knows what's going to survive and what's not going to survive. And it's why dogs have so many pups, for survival rate, you know. And that's the whole point. But these are very, very content. These are 3 weeks old now. Next week will be flea treatment and wormer. That's what we were doing at 4 weeks of age with these. We used to do it at 3 weeks, but the vet now says 4 weeks, and we give them like a spot on, and that treats them for the worming and for the flea treatment. But yes, these are doing really, really well now. Pleased with these. As you can see, they're really content. They're not crying. They do nothing but sleep and eat, sleep and eat. And people say, oh, when can I come round and pick my pup? When can I come round and pick my pup? You can't come round and pick your pup. It doesn't happen like that. Unfortunately, you just can't turn up at 3 weeks and 5 weeks and 6 weeks. They let the mother get on with it. Like I said, the mother does all the work at the moment. And then on the 5th week, I really get involved. I start feeding them. They're running around. You put them in a box now, they'll scatter up to where they want to go. They're just so much alive now compared to as puppies. They just drag themselves up to the mother. They can get away from the mother if they want to get away from the mother. They can tuck up if they want to. She gets away from them, and she knows when she should be feeding them, when she shouldn't be feeding them. But like I say, this is working kennels. These make fantastic pets because the temperament's right, the trainability's in them. But you still got to train them. You still got to train these pups. And that's part and parcel of my job, to educate people. And I'll get these little dogs retrieving the tennis ball, half a tennis ball, carrying it around the yard, and enjoying life, even at that very young age. And that's why it's so important to get that into them at that young age. That makes it easier for you when you take them home, because it gives you something to work on. It builds that foundation from the start. And it would be lovely if everyone could come round and pick the pup and put a band around its neck and go, can I have that one? Now, if I've got a customer who was early on the books and they said, oh, I particularly like that one with the markings, then we'll try and keep that one back for them. But at the end of the day, it's a first come, first service, really. And if you've booked a pup and you're third in line, I've got to try and get the people who are first and second in line to pick their pup first before you can have your choice of colour. And at the end of the day, it doesn't. If you come around at 8 weeks old and they're all for sale, you can pick which one you want if they're all for sale. But once they've been chosen, and they get chosen quick when somebody breeds quality, you sometimes have to take a bit of a chance or whatever's left with the colour markings. And I can't be running around saying, oh, that person booked that one before that one. I've got a list of who's booked pups, and I try and honour that. And I do my best to honour that. So somebody who booked it first for a bitch pup has got a choice of the bitches. We lost one bitch and one. Oh no, we lost two. I'm not sure what we lost now. It's a sad situation when you do lose them, and we only lost them yesterday. And the reason I've not brought them out and showed people is the size difference between a small pup that's not made it and a pup that are healthy. Now you could say, well, you should do that, but it's going to upset people, because when you see a pup that's been weaned going downhill, you don't see the true extent of how much we put into them to try and get them to survive. We worked on them for, I've not been doing so many videos because I've been working on trying to get the pups, taking these pups out, leaving the other 2 pups in there with the bitch so they could get some nourishment. And she just abandons them if she feels that they're not going to make it, and then she panics because of these, because this is the ones she wants to protect, because that's what happens in reality. You protect the strong survive. And so by taking them away and giving her the other ones, she's fretting, and that's not really fair on her. And so it gets to a stage where you're just banging your head against the wall, and it's horrible to watch pups fade in front of you over 3 or 4 days. And we had that lovely weather. It was really warm, and she wasn't producing a lot of milk because when she had them it was really warm. And then the temperature dropped 10 degrees. Well, we got heat lamps in there and we kept the heat lamps on them. But does that make a difference? Well, sometimes it does. It's a draft-free box with a heat lamp, but definitely drop the temperature. You could feel the temperature. During the summer, during the hot days, I was taking the heat lamp off. In the last 4 or 5 days, I've kept the heat lamp on all the time, because at the end of the day, I was trying to keep some extra heat in the box. But these are looking really nice, and we don't very often lose pups this age. It's only because we've spent so much time trying to help them. It's not the money. It's not the money. It's not the fact that you've lost £1,000 in revenue. It's the fact that you have a duty as a person who's breeding to do your best for your pups. But there comes a point where you're wasting your time. And the vet said at the time, when she docked the tails, oh, these two are very small and undernourished, and they weren't getting milk even at that point enough because of the bigger ones. And as you can see, they grow so quick. They grow so quick. But like I say, there's nothing you can do. They're not running around at this stage. You start seeing the characters on them when they're about 7, 8 weeks old. They're true characters, because they change. They change all the time. 1 minute they're boisterous and barking at each other and rolling and playing, but at the moment they're still sleeping. They do the majority of the time sleeping, crapping, and she does a good job keeping them clean. Look, but they're on sawdust. They're under a heat lamp, and we're going to put them back under there now. So there you go. We've got, like I say, we've got one white, very white. Oh, look at that. Vicious then, wasn't it? See that? Little bitch, look. Right. One white, very white bitch with a nice liver head. You've seen that one. I'm just trying to pick out the ones that really stand out a little bit more. There's another one down here, a little white one, with a little white patch on the back. Liver and a white blaze. That one's a bitch as well. So you've got two quite white ones. Then what have we got here? Another big bitch there. We got a big bitch with a lot of liver and white. Look, nice head on it. So that's three bitches. Another bitch there, look. So it's a split, that one. That's quite evenly marked, look. Another bitch, that's 4 bitches. That's 4 bitches there and 3 dogs here. So we lost 1 dog, 1 bitch, I think. Dog. So we got 1 dog with a saddle. 1 dog. No, one. That's a bitch. See what I mean? I see how difficult it is at this point. That's definitely a dog. Look, markings all the way down, and then we got that big bruiser here. Look, that's a bitch. See? Dog. That's the saddle dog. So there you go. Dog. Bitch. bitch, 2 bitches, 2 bitches, 2 dogs, bitch, 3 bitches, 2 dogs, bitch, 4 bitches, 2 dogs, bitch, 5 bitches, 2 dogs, I don't know. So I think the dogs are sold. I think there may be 1 bitch left, I think. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not 100% sure. There was 9, down to 7. Yep, 7. So there you go. I'm put them back now because the bitch is barking. She wants to come back in, so we put them back in. The reason I wear gloves is then I'm not leaving my scent all over them, and then it doesn't. The bitch just sits back in there and no one's messed around with them. So there they go. The pups. What do you think? What do you think? Okay, happy?